Alright, starting stream in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rolling intro. What's going on there, jerk faces? It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmissions, brought to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's our weekly live stream where we talk about news, current events, esoteric ideas, as well as our movie review. And tonight we'll be reviewing Taxi Driver, starring Robert De Niro, of course, directed by Martin Scorsese, which goes in line with our theme this month, which is vigilantes. And with me, as ever, is the homeboy Rob. It is. It's one of those movies where it's one of that kind of like falls into the category of cinematic archaeology, where it's I've seen the movie without seeing the movie. Absolutely. Sure. For me, not so much. Just been working a little bit here and there. I went fishing this past weekend, which is always nice. Yeah, I didn't catch anything, unfortunately, but I did get to try out a new rod and reel that I bought, so that was cool. Well, actually, that did kind of happen because on Saturday, I threw out my line and then I was reeling it back in, and I felt a bump, and so I got excited, but I didn't hook anything. But when I reeled it in, I was using a rubber fluke lure, which it kind of looks like a little fish with like the dangly tail, and the end of the tail was bitten off. So I was very encouraged by that. Right. Yeah, and it's got really personal, like saying stuff to my mother, and then it muttered something anti-Semitic under its breath. Yeah, and then that was Saturday, and then I became kind of like a crack addict with fish. Or I became like Hank Hill, when he was like, when he started using crack for bait, and he got addicted to like hooking, catching fish, and so he would use any excuse to go and go fish. And so Sunday after church, I was supposed to go fishing with a buddy, but he forgot that he had some plans, and so he wasn't able to go. And then so I decided to go by myself. Actually, it was really nice. It's very rare that I go fishing by myself, and so because usually I'm going with somebody else. like whether it's like my dad or one of my fishing buddies. But this is like one of the first times that I just one of the times that I went by myself. And it's, I kind of it was very nice. Just got to be myself. It's so peaceful, and I don't have to worry about anybody or interact. Well, I mean, I did meet another fishing bro on the on the surf, and we were talking shop a bit, what our setups are, what kind of baits working, and it's a nice little community, fishermen are, amateur fishermen, it's a really it's a very welcoming group, as long as you have a rod in your hand, people talk to you and you'll instantly you become best friends, I made a joke about how because I went surf fishing and I was like throwing it in and it seemed like all I was doing is catching seaweed, and then this new fishing buddy of mine, he's like, oh, what are you, a vegan or something? And then I told him, he's like, hey, he's like, that word's very offensive to my people, and he got a big laugh out of it, so. I'm an equal opportunity fisherman, but I do love me some surf fishing. Yeah, I went out to Ventura, and I just went to one of the beaches that I go to, and just threw my line out there and see what I can get. But I mean, at least I wasn't. Well, one guy did catch something, but for the most part, no one was really catching anything. So I at least took solace in that. Because if it was only me not catching anything, I feel a ways about it. I would have taken it personally. But what about you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Wow. Okay. Yeah. What did you think of the Shadow Recruit? Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Okay. So Some of Our Fear was your first entry in the Jack Ryan. Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched that full straight through. Yeah, I've only seen bits and pieces of it, but yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like that movie, or they lampooned it because Ben Affleck, but but Jack Ryan. Yeah, and I mean at the time at the age he was playing Jack Ryan, I thought he would do pretty. I thought he would do a pretty good job. Um, right, and Armageddon. So. hmm So yeah, he was kind of on that trajectory because he showed that I mean he was also in Shakespeare in Love. I mean I've never watched that movie, but I know he's in it, and I know his English accent is horrendous. Um, Yeah, and so like his trajectory was pretty good. Like you showed that he can do like this sort of like serious drama with Shakespeare in Love, and he can also do like the the quiet like introspective like indie type of film with like Good Will Hunting. And then he did like the big blockbuster with Armageddon. So but again, more indie. Yeah, that's more indie. That's a more indie fare sort of movie. But yeah, like it was like he was getting in like all of like the Hollywood bona fides to have a sustaining career. Son of a.
Just curious to see like where I would like rank that among the movies, but
oh my god, such an ass. I had you on mute for the last like 10 minutes.
No.
My bad, y'all. Oh, jeez.
They're probably see me like doing my hand movements, and they're like
I know, but hopefully through my responses,
Blu-rays. I'm talking about the Jack Ryan film.
Yeah, and I hope through my responses they could get a general sense of what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's all right.
Ah, jeez.
Well, what I was saying is what I've been doing this week. We did a new recording with our buddy Santa, which is going to be a great episode. That's going to come out in a few weeks. I finished watching the Jack Ryan films. I haven't finished the show just yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was ranking them for Andy, like where I thought that they lined up. So, Hunt for Red October is number 1. Clear and Present Danger is number 2. Patriot Games is 3. Shadow Recruit is 4, and The Sum of All Fears is 5.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all really solid. I really enjoy all of them. They bring in each actor's iteration of Jack Ryan, they bring something different to it, which is great. Like I kind of like the surly, like more grizzled Jack Ryan and Harrison Ford. The Baldwin version of Ryan is great. I thought Chris Pine was really good, kind of as a younger Jack Ryan.
Yeah, and I actually like that
Sum of All Fears version.
Yeah, and I like that we got his backstory of like being a Marine, and actually because like I know it was mentioned in Hunt for Red October, but and of course they slightly modified because in Hunt for Red October he was still in the academy when he had his accident, but in Shadow Recruit he was studying in Oxford, and then 9/11 happened, and then he joins up, and then his chopper accident happens like while in Afghanistan or something. And so, but
I know they take like liberties a little bit with the character, which is fine. Like, I'm sure. What would we discover that there's like 30 plus books of the Jack Ryan series?
Something like that.
There's a lot to like dive into.
Yeah, but I like how they integrated his service into Shadow Recruit.
I thought that was really good. Kenneth Branagh was a good bad guy.
Keira Knightley's American accent is like really weird. Not that it was bad, but hearing it out of her was weird.
Well, I'm sorry, say that again?
Oh, I was just saying that Keira Knightley's American accent was kind of jarring to hear coming out of her.
I was like, wait, is that Keira Knightley?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh yeah. I was like,
because Keira Knightley, we know her, it's like, or not personally, of course, but through the movies, we've only known her as like, an English woman, but now, in this movie, she, puts on this, she puts on this American accent, and it just kind of fries the brain a little bit, because it's like,
I think it would have been better, like, had they just left her with that accent. Like, fine, let her have a British accent. Like, let her be
right, like, like his,
she
like,
works as a,
or like his wife in, like his wife in Hunt for Red October. She was English, even though it was played by Gates McFadden, who is an American. If they continued that continuity with the Shadow Recruit, I don't think it would be that much of a problem.
No. But hey, that's maybe like the weakest part. But like her character actually is not bad. Like I liked how they worked her into like having to help Jack Ryan. Like,
right.
That created like some tension there, and it was a good storyline. And I kind of liked Kevin Costner in the film. I thought he did a great job. And it's a good movie. Like they're all really solid. Like I don't think there's a bad movie among bunch.
I see.
Yeah, and like I said, I haven't finished the show series, so I'm not sure where I would want to put John Krasinski's version of Jack Ryan in there. But I mean, I like what I've seen so far.
Is the newest season out right now?
What's that?
Is the newest season out right now?
They finished the season or the series, so all the seasons are up on Amazon right now. I finished the first season. I haven't.
Okay, yeah, I was confused because there was some like promotional stuff, and it made it seem like there was another season of the Jack Ryan show.
I think there are 3 or 4 seasons, but the most recent season that just came out is the last season. At least I think it is.
Hold on. Stand by.
Yeah, the 4 seasons.
Yes, 4 seasons.
And I think the 4th season is the last.
Yeah, and it just dropped back in June.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm seeing here. Okay, all right. So I have to check out that 4th season.
Yeah, that's like I finished the 1st season. I have not gotten to the 2nd season yet, but so far it's pretty damn good. And you do see a little more of like his. He's an analyst, but you also get a little bit of kind of similar with Shadow Recruit. You get a little bit
right.
Of, like,
yeah, when he goes operational.
So.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. Was there anything else I did this week? No, I watched Taxi Driver, and I've been working. I've been working on our reviews for like the rest of the month. I still have one movie left to go, which is next week's movie. But I was getting prepared. I've been watching the Dark Knight trilogy again to prepare for the Dark Knight, and I actually was starting to watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy as well, which is going to be at the end of the month. And yeah, it's been kind of fun revisiting some of these films that I haven't seen in a while. Well, not the Batman trilogy. I've been watching that a lot recently, but yeah, like TMNT and Taxi Driver, and I'm looking forward to watching Gran Torino again, because these are all just really fantastic films we're going to be talking about. I've had a little bit of time on my hands because mainly I've been working. My wife's been working, and since we're down to one car at the moment, it's been kind of like when she's gone, like I'm kind of like I'm stuck at home. I'm not really anywhere. But, yeah, it's been a good week. I had some friends over this weekend as well. My wife had her friend over this weekend, and then Friday or Sunday after church we had some Korean barbecue. Brought over a friend of the podcast, Val. So we all kind of hung out, had some beers, had some good Korean barbecue, played a little Cards Against Humanity, kind of fun stuff like that. Had a good weekend.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen Val in a minute. We have to get him back on.
Yeah, he's kind of itching to get back on too. So we'll get him on. We'll find a day to make that work. Mm-hmm. Might be like have to do it on like a Saturday or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, but definitely we'll have to get him back on. I do enjoy his stories. I'm sure our audience enjoys the stories too.
Yeah, no, he's a funny guy. He's a good guy. But yeah, that's been my week. It's been a good week.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, let's get into topics for today. Where would you like to start?
Let's start with our biblical topic first.
All right, very good.
So there was the sermon we had last Sunday. I felt was very intriguing. I thought it was very good, and it kind of made me. We've talked about it in the past where I think you and I both feel this way a little bit, like where we're both a little uncomfortable, and their sermons on a Sunday in church are a little too politically charged. Like I think you would agree with that, right, Andy?
Politically charged. Like there's too much politics in it.
Yeah, like or maybe it's something. I'm not saying like we're not talking about something that's like relevant to our current situation, like where we're at in the world and stuff like that. But I don't really care for when we need to really focus and pray against like. We need to pray for certain candidates to get into office, or we need to change this or that about like maybe we're like, oh, this is what's in the zeitgeist, so we're gonna talk about this. And then we kind of like we almost leave the Bible behind when that happens, is what I feel like. Where it becomes
well,
like,
in my own personal experience, my pastor he doesn't get very political.
Yeah.
But and there was a time that I wish that he would. I mean, not that he would be overtly political, but I wish he would address more of, I guess where the crossroads of politics and culture intersect, but with like a more biblical, with a biblical perspective or a biblical prescription.
Because what I hear sometimes, and I've been to many churches in the past, and what I'm afraid of is like it becomes more TED Talk than it becomes about like teaching the Bible and helping us to take what we're learning from the applying it to today. That's the thing that like concerns me.
Well, as I was saying,
there's a lot of.
As I was saying, earlier on, I wish my pastor would have talked more overtly about some of the things that are happening. Where like the cross, with the intersection of like where politics and culture collided, but with a biblical prescription. But now I come to appreciate his stiff-armedness towards that. and him just kind of talking about what the Bible, like he would bring up certain things that would happen, but not like make the entire sermon about that. He would just talk about like how the Bible, what the biblical prescription for that is.
Yeah.
And so I would be leery. Now I'm a little bit leery of, although there is a pastor out in Texas that I follow who's more overt about it, about like addressing like culture and politics, but it's always very biblically centered. So
okay. Well, what I found interesting, like this past Sunday, and I felt like this is, I actually hadn't even like thought, kind of connected these two in a lot of ways, but because in the past, like, because I'm new to the church, like he was talking about, like, in the past, there's been a lot of people who like come to us like, Pastor, why aren't you talking about this thing, or why are you talking about that thing, or why aren't you, like, it's like, my job here, it doesn't mean that like we shouldn't be informed or think about those things, but my job here and our job as Christians is we are meant to be focused on God's word. What is God directing us to do? And you just like, okay, our society, there's a lot that we want to change in our society to make it better, right? We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, but let's also go back into the past. Let's look at like what Paul was dealing with when he was in Ephesus and the world of Ephesus, and it's pretty much kind of the same type of society. There's a lot of false worship. There's a lot of sexual infidelity, immorality, all sorts of stuff, and the society, the economy and everything was built up based on that lifestyle. And Paul wasn't about like getting like the temple that was there, or like all what was going on there. His what he did there was that he preached the gospel. He showed love to the people that were there, and because of God working through Paul, the Ephesians were changed. They came to God, and when that happened, that the economy of that society started to crumble and change, mm-hmm. because the people were influenced, were changed by God, and that sin essentially was like kind of cast out in a lot of ways. And he's like, that's what we need to do for our society. Like, we need to be filled with God's word. We need to not just like we're going to learn it in here, and we're going to exude that love, and we're going to work on ourselves and change the morality that we have within, because that is going to be an influence on the people around us, and that's how the society is changed. And so I was like, that's kind of how I would feel about a lot of things. Cause listen, we do talk about like some of our political leanings here and like how we feel about the world, and I think this is a great format for that. We're talking about and we try to stay apprised of what's going on and some of the dangers, because we know not everyone here is a Christian, and that's fine. But for the Christians that do maybe follow us and stuff like that, I would encourage us as a group of believers is let's make sure that that our house is clean, that we're not and that we are, when we're talking about the gospel and we are living our lifestyle, that it is something that properly reflects what God wants, and our society will be changed.
Right. It's it's the living by example kind of mentality.
Yep.
because like even with Jesus, there's only one instance where like he was kind of he was pretty the only time he really got froggy about something was in the temple.
Yeah.
But again, it has something to do with God because what was it? Of course, hopefully everyone knows. But it's the money changing scene where Jesus goes, it's his triumphal entry and riding the donkey with all the palm fronds, and stuff laid before him, and he goes to the temple to go and worship God. But when he gets there, he finds that the what is it? The outer court. The outer court was filled with money changers and people selling doves to for the sacrifice and things like that, and and he was incensed. Jesus was incensed by this, and a lot of people were thinking, well, what's the big deal about that? And the deal with the big deal of that was because it was inside the temple.
Yeah.
It was in the space meant for worship, and particularly in the space where it was more open, because there for people who don't know, there are different parts of the temple and different levels of access for the temple, because you think of the temple and you think, oh, it's just for Jews. Inside was for like the more priestly class, and then kind of like just outside of there was for like the regular Jews, and then in the courtyard where where the money changers and like the people selling doves for sacrifice, that was meant for everybody else. That was like meant for Gentile, non-Jews.
Right.
And so Jesus was incensed because that they weren't allowing everyone to have access to God. And so and it's not as though like the money changers didn't operate outside of the temple, or there weren't people selling doves for sacrifices on the streets just as you come to the temple. Is the fact that they were inside the temple, and that they were also denying access for everyone to be close to God.
Yeah, and that was the big issue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's honestly, I think that's what we really need to work on too, is like making church a place where literally everyone is welcome.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't have to put yourself up. You don't have to have all your stuff together to come to church. Like you don't have to special certificate before you can even like come to church and become a Christian. No, and we have people that come to like my church all the time that they're not Christians. Like our church says like, yeah, we have non-believers come here nearly every Sunday, and there's people who have given their life over to Christ nearly every Sunday. Like they just because it is such a warm and welcome community. It's like we want you to come. Like we're gonna teach the Bible here, and that transform. If what we're talking about, our discussion of the Bible and the gospel is calling to you, then we welcome you. We want that to happen. We'll pray for you, and we will take care of you. And I think that's kind of more the mentality that church have, kind of fixing our insides, so that way when we do go out, we can share that same thing and share the gospel in a good way, a loving manner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, what is it? There's one of the homeless men that come out to my church on Wednesdays tomorrow, and we're constantly extending an invitation for him to join us on Sundays. But he related a bad experience that he had one time where he showed up at a church, and people were not friendly to him, and I think even one member kind of outright told them like, oh, like you're not dressed right, or that he probably wasn't able to bathe himself, and so he probably stunk, and yeah, and so he was treated very harshly or unwelcoming, or he was treated unwelcomed at that church, but because of that one bad experience, like even though he knows me, he knows a lot of the members from our church that kind of that volunteer with me, and how nice and welcoming and friendly we are. Like he still doesn't want to come out to a Sunday service because he still feels that he's going to be judged for his lower station, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's awful. One of the other things, because we were kind of going through like some of the types of sins that people commit, and the ways that we even as Christians are we still have issues that we have to work through and all that. And really the worst one is kind of is pride, and where it's and that's kind of like what happened in this case, because
I thought you were gonna say partiality.
Well, I say why I say pride is because people at the church that he went to, they thought oh well, you're not good enough here. We're better than you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not dressed the right way. You're not coming to church the right way. And what that does is that why that sin is why it's so bad, especially for Christians to have, is that a lot of times that keeps people keeps people away from God, because that person thinks that they're so high and mighty, that they're so great. Well, screw their God. I don't want any part of that. And who would blame them? I don't. That homeless guy they were talking about, I completely understand his plight and why he feels that way. I mean, he's already got 100 million other issues, and he's been kicked out of every other place, and the church, which is supposed to be it is supposed to be a welcoming place for anyone, especially if they are seeking out, they want to hear God's word being spoken and being a part of a church community, and this is what happened. That's terrible.
Indeed. Yeah, it's just yeah, I mean, and so it's so when a lot of people they said they wonder why the church is slow to speak up on certain things. I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. Because I think that because what is it? I'm not looking to turn this country into a theocracy. I mean, ultimately, in the end, and when God comes and everything, we're gonna live under his rule and everything. But the here and now, I would not push for a theocracy. I would, because of the fallen nature of humanity, it just wouldn't be trust. I wouldn't be able to trust it.
Yeah. No.
But it doesn't mean that we can't strive to make our communities, our our immediate neighborhoods better. Where the people forget that that government is a diaconal office instituted by God. God gives like certain institutions responsibilities. And government is actually one of them, because even in the Bible it says that that God gives the government the sword, the responsibility sword.
Right.
It takes that responsibility out of, because like if we are responsible for our own justice, then we're just going to be going out murdering everybody.
Yeah.
Or like we're going to be going out on vendettas against everybody. And so like that responsibility of meting out justice, that's left to the state.
Yeah, it's a complicated thing like that, but I think as Christians, if we work on working on ourselves, and not in like a selfish way, like like not in like the I just need to care for myself, and I just need to look out for myself. No. That's not what I'm talking. When I talk about for us, working on ourselves, it's so that we can be better vessels to be able to spread out God's word and His love.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
because it's not to better ourselves. It's to better ourselves to be utilized by God and to be kind of put out into the world in a better way. Because that we have brighter light, we become more attractive to people who are hungry for God and they don't really know where to look. Well, that's why we need to become a brighter light, so that we can attract people who are hungry for the Word of God, for His love, that they need a change. We don't need to be the bullhorn preacher on the corner, but it's like as long as we become the brightest light that we can be, God's gonna send people our way, no matter what.
Right. What is it in the Bible? Yeah, it said this: the sheep will know the shepherd's voice, and so those that can hear him, like they're gonna come to him, and there's no. I mean, yes, we should proselytize and try to reach out to as many people as possible. But ultimately, God's gonna, God, again, the sheep know the shepherd's voice, and so that if you're part of the flock, you're gonna come to him, and regardless, of what how you feel in the moment, because it might be 20 years from now, and then you finally hear the voice, the shepherd's voice, and you're gonna go to him.
Yeah.
But just one last thing I would say, like, I wouldn't, I'm not for a Christian government, but I wouldn't be opposed if Christians were in government.
No, I'm not.
And so, yeah, so I mean, if we get, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but if we can get to a place where where we can create, we can revitalize our society to get back to God and living biblically grounded lives. I think we'd all be better. And so, yeah, not advocating for a Christian government, but for Christians in government. That'd be great.
Yeah, no, I was just kind of curious to your thoughts on that. Like, I was, the message that was that we had this past weekend, that was kind of something that I knew. It's not like I learned something new, but it was just kind of like a nice reminder, and the way that it was phrased was like, I think that articulated exactly how I felt about the situation.
Mm.
As far as, a lot of, there's always going to be some sort of issue or new, like, spin on, like, the sins that just constantly pop up. We're always going to have them. But if we continue to work on becoming that, like, the bright light for God, and to make ourselves something that we're like, oh, that person's different, like, and I feel like if I talk to them, something good's gonna happen, or like, as far as like they know that we're a Christian, it's like, why does that guy, do that, or whatever, and it becomes that opportunity to share the gospel.
Right. Yeah, it's a difference between, like, having a message condemning, homosexuality, and a sermon that explains why marriage is important, and why marriage, comes from God.
And it's like, that's also just like, I'm also not, like, I would never turn away someone who is in that lifestyle. Like, I wouldn't turn them away. If they want to come to church, like, yeah, come on, man. Like, come on, and it's, now, if they were Christian and they're kind of in that lifestyle, now I don't want them as, like, as a pastor or leader, just like I wouldn't want someone who is in adultery or some other, like, really egregious sin.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that I don't want those people at church, because it's important for them to be there. And they're
right, exactly.
They're a part of the community, fallen as they may be. I had something in my head about it. I forgot what it was. But yeah, no, I just, like I said, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I was gonna say, we always give our good friend Joel a hard time. Like, he's kind of like the anti-bullhorn preacher, but like, he is very vocal, and he just does not.
I mean, is he really the anti-bullhorn preacher? Because I don't know. I mean, he doesn't, like, condemn. He doesn't condemn. No. He doesn't condemn. He doesn't condemn. But I mean, he's as bullhorn as it comes. I mean, of course, he just proclaims the gospel, and he never condemns anybody. All he's doing is, proclaiming the gospel, and calling people to turn from them. At the most aggressive, I would say, is, he would tell people to turn from their sins, but that's about it. But he's kind of bullhorn preacher.
Yeah, I was. We had to get him back on at some point.
I think right now he's. I don't know. I think he's traveling around right now. But yeah, we'll reach out to him.
This is why we have Skype and Zoom and all that stuff. So we'll see if we can get him back on again.
Yeah, for sure.
He's great.
Yeah. I still remember the first time we had him on, and, like, at the end he prayed a blessing over our podcast.
Hey, you know what? We should have him back on just so he can pray for us.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if everyone will agree that we portray Christianity correctly, but I
think he'll still love us.
I think he still loves us, but but in our defense, I think that we're very authentic.
I think we do champion, in a way. I think we're still champions for Christianity, but we also tackle difficult topics, and maybe we don't say things in, like, the most. Well, it's like some people would consider it vulgar, but we talked about that. Like, where does the word vulgar come from? It comes from the Vulgate, which is
common tongue.
Common tongue. We are men of the people, if you.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, we're just taking Jesus' lead. He went to he went to the people.
Yeah.
He went to the tax collector, the prostitute, the minimally religious people. And he preached to them.
We want to talk to you,
the people. And we want to share the gospel with you, the people. Oh my god!
I'm sorry,
dude, that should be a skit, like Bane, Bane the preacher. It's like, do you feel in charge? It says in Leviticus, Oh man, that'd be hilarious.
But well, speaking of a zeitgeist issue with some depravity, talk about some fembots.
Yeah, my favorite. Yeah.
So, I don't know if you remember from, I don't even know how long ago this was. It must have been a while ago because they're working on there's a Netflix documentary. What the hell was it called? I had it pulled up. 1 second. Oh, so let's see. It's a Netflix documentary. It's called Untold, and in this case, it's the second season. It's the girlfriend who didn't exist, and there was a very famous college football player a number of years ago, Manny Te'o, who
it's like this is like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah, so like very infamously was catfish, which it's I kind of feel bad for the guy, but it's like, and I'm actually I might watch that documentary to be honest, because that does sound. I kind of want to know what exactly happened in that story, but not only has that problem not gone away, I think we've gotten to an even more egregious problem now, with especially now that AI has become, much more. I don't want to use this word.
Robust.
Has become. I was gonna say problematic.
Oh.
Well, we talked about it with the whole the SAG and Writers Guild strike that's going on right now, and AI that's being used to
write scripts and whatever.
Yeah, that's bad enough, but now you have people who are creating AI.
Oh yeah.
Women, and because so they're creating these sex bot accounts that have OnlyFans and all that stuff.
There's an article or something written about one of these, AI generated models, and how it has garnered hundreds of thousands of follows on social media.
Yeah, and so you can kind of tell it's not quite right yet, but god damn, it's really close.
Yeah, it's the uncanny valley. It's the uncanny valley.
There's a few where it's I had to look. It's no, that's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they've the issue, but one of the first things to look for are the hands, because for some reason AI can't get hands quite right.
Yeah, and it's but they're being put in background, so the backgrounds are real, but the person is not, right?
Right.
So that's where it's nah, that doesn't look quite right. You can kind of tell, but it's like I said, if someone is maybe not paying attention, or they're
just at a quick glance.
Yeah, it'll be oh shit, that's a hot chick. It's oh wait, no, that person doesn't exist. It's fake.
Yeah.
But you get they have certain posts that are probably done through another AI chatbot or something like that. And you get these people who are So you have like these nerds who are creating these like fake women to make money off of these desperate, lonely weirdos that are gonna be, was it $10 or whatever dollars a month to OnlyFans? Maybe like one of it's. I mean, that creates its own problem by itself, but it's like I also wonder is this just a way to like what would be hilarious is if this was done to like put all these other real women out of work from like OnlyFans and all that stuff, and then they just shut all this shit down and like.
So it's like so it's like what is it? It's a base guy who's like saying, all right, I don't want porn anymore, so I'm just gonna create all of these fake women, and then so it becomes saturated, and like these fake women get all the attention, and then all the real women like would eventually have to stop doing OnlyFans, and then is that what you're saying?
I'm like, that's my hope, that like you have like some base guy that's doing this. Like, okay, here's the long game. I'm gonna create all these like fake women, and I'm gonna put these people out of business, and then I'm gonna shut this shit down, like Lucius Fox at the end of The Dark Knight, where it's like this type of game and it blows everything up.
I don't know. I think this is just a natural course of feminism. Feminism has made women, like real women, utterly useless to men, and so now men must seek out these fake women.
I mean, like this is also like we were making fun of this in Futurama, like the
oh, you know what? You know what predicted this? That movie Simone with Al Pacino.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's basically this. Al Pacino uses like AI to create this, artificial woman who becomes like this megastar, but people think that she's real, and so like he's kind of like her agent, and so like he has to constantly keep up the grift of this person Simone, which is interesting. Like her name is derived from simulation and one. Simone, Sim 1.
Oh.
Yeah, you should look it up.
Oh wow, this looks interesting. Okay, yeah, I might have to check this out. I was thinking of the film I was thinking of was Her with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Which is a horrifying film if you've ever seen it.
I started watching it, but then as I was watching it, I was like, damn, this is goddamn depressing.
It's fucking it is depressing.
Like even in like the opening scene of him like going on that kind of like Tinder site, and then him having like phone sex with surprisingly that's Anna Faris. That's Anna Faris's voice.
Pale.
What?
Like, oh yeah, he's on that, like he's talking with that woman. It's like, yeah, I want you to use the dead cat and choke me with it. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, and then she gets off, and then but then he doesn't, and so it's like he gets blue balls.
Would be because fucking weird.
Yeah, but he gets blue balls, and so but then also who that voice is, who the voice of that girl is Anna Faris.
That's Anna Faris.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was like, I knew I recognized her voice, but I couldn't place it.
Right, but yeah, it's that movie is like so bleak. I don't think I just couldn't keep going. I couldn't keep watching it. It was just so.
Well, it is a good movie. Now it's not one where like, oh man, I need to go watch Her again. But it is a really good film. It is scary as fuck though, like that, because that's we are heading in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what is it? I mean, I know it's like an easy scapegoat, but feminism has a place in this, in that they made women utterly useless to men. Because all feminism does is teach women to act like men, and men don't want to date ourselves, so we then have to turn to these artificial women that aren't even women, but to fill the void.
You know, it's one of those things too. Like when you have a society where all the laws, especially when it comes to like marriage and family and stuff, they all support like women to a degree. Like there's really like no support for men in a lot of ways. I mean, there's some, but like not. It's majority like they're gonna side with the woman.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, because they're the biggest voting demographic.
You get divorced. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who initiates the divorce. That woman is
majority of the time it is women though.
Pretty much for as long as she wants. Like I think it ends if you get married.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's what is it? Joe Rogan always tells this anecdote about one of his acting friends. How his wife divorced him, and she lives at their house in like Palos Verdes or whatever, and she has a boyfriend, but the boyfriend hasn't moved in any of his stuff because I think under like divorce law or something, if the woman is cohabitating with somebody, then the man can basically come off the hook for alimony. And then they have an inspection, and so when the inspector comes, like they make sure that like all of the boyfriend stuff, like not even leaving a male razor, in the bathroom, and it's to prove that she's not cohabitating with anybody.
Jesus.
And so like so.
That's some bullshit, man.
Yeah, so with that,
because they don't want to be accused of rape because they the girl quote unquote consented, and then it's like actually it wasn't very good sex. Well, I regret it. So he raped me, and it's like, well, fuck, that guy's screwed. Like, and I'm not like I said, but it's girls like that ruin it for real victims of rape, and this is also like why guys are gun shy. So, well, fuck this. If I'm gonna go out there and I say hi to a girl and she sprays me with mace or accuses me of sexually harassing her, like what the fuck's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
Or like when I get married, like I'm essentially like she just gets tired of me one day, and I essentially lose over half my shit, and I don't. Or if we have kids, it's like I'm gonna lose the kids too, most likely. Like I was thinking like in most cases, like especially if you are not. I mean, I haven't done this, and I didn't want to do this, but if for some reason, like for people getting married today, like I was saying, like, oh, the prenup, that sounds so like just so terrible. But like honestly, I would recommend that for a majority of people. Get a prenup, especially
but in my research, I found that the prenups get thrown out like all the time. A good amount of times, it just gets thrown out.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, so if you want to keep that up, yeah, it's just like you have to like renew, you have to like update if you want that to like the prenup to stand in court, then you have to like constantly being updating it like every like 5 years or whatever.
Well, then people need to be doing that because that's. Especially unless like the laws become like more fair, or there has to be some sort of change. Because honestly, this is
what are the chances? What are the chances of that happening? Women are the biggest voting bloc in this country. Do you think they're gonna? Do you think politicians are ever gonna go against their biggest voting bloc?
That's why they're saying the way it is.
Exactly. Oh, and I haven't verified, but I heard women's suffrage only passed because of one like fucking young junior senator from Tennessee, and he was guilted into it by his mother.
Oh my god.
She wrote him a letter. She wrote him a letter because he was gonna vote no on it, right? And then that would have killed women's suffrage. But his mom wrote him and said like, oh, think of the woman who blah blah blah, sob story, women, women are the victims. And because of that senator's mother, he changed his vote to yes, and which basically got women's suffrage passed.
And what should have happened is the senior senator should have caned him to death before the vote. Good. Fucking dumb.
Yeah.
If that's true.
Yeah. Again, I just heard about this recently, so I haven't had time to verify. But if it's true, oh my god.
Well, let me know if that gets verified, because we're gonna rail on that person, see what other policies he fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, I've been watching a lot of these like red pill dating podcasts recently, and it's really interesting because they always talk about. The presenters always present the questions like, oh, like, what do what's your ideal man? How much does he have to make? Yada, yada, yada. And there's actually this program called the Delusion Calculator, and it like basically spits out like, what are the chances of you meeting this man? And it's always funny because it always spits out like this really, low percentage of you actually of this actual person existing, and it's like it has the rating based on like cat treats, because you're gonna be the woman is gonna end up alone with cats, so it's like and it always comes out to like 5 like cat treats, but the question is never asked like, are you willing to go down in lifestyle for to have your ideal man? Because it's always presented as like, oh, men have to be higher achievers. They have to earn more to secure a mate. But the inverse is never asked. It's like, are you willing to go down in lifestyle for your ideal man? Like he checks every other box except for like the money thing. But are you willing to go down in lifestyle? If it meant that you would have a fulfilled life with this man, would you be willing to go down in lifestyle?
That's a great question, actually.
Yeah, it's never asked.
Yeah, that's a.
Because women on these things, they always give like this bullshit, the bullshit answer about like, oh yeah, I want to be happy and da 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 da, I want what I want, and it's like, okay, fine. What if he meets all of these things, and it's, I mean, of course, nothing is ever guaranteed, but in this scenario, it's guaranteed you're gonna have a good life, but you just won't be making as much money. Are you
living in like the Palisades and have like 9 sports cars and shit?
Right. Yeah. You'll be living in a valley in a 4-bedroom house with 3 kids, and you'll be driving a Honda Accord. Your man might be or you might be driving a minivan. Your man might be driving a Honda Accord. You'll be able to pay off your taxes. You'll be able to pay off your utilities, your water, power, whatever. But you'll never like be on a private jet, or you'll never have like the G-Wagon or whatever. It's but you're gonna have a fulfilled life.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. And And I bet my liver that the women would still say no, even if they were gonna get fulfilled life, even though they'd be comfortable, right? They'd be comfortable with like the
majority
minimum.
of women in current society would say hell no.
Exactly.
Because most of them are terrible, and they've been, and that's why that they also are. Oh, I'm 40 and I'm alone. I'm so hot. Why does nobody want to be with me? It's like, well, I wonder fucking why.
It's like, would you? Is that yeah? Like, I mean, hopefully, you know, we can get to the podcast to a point where like we start tracking these red pill guys to like get us on the show. But you know, then I'd like you know, it's like I'd ask these women these questions like, hey, it's like, would you chew a piece of gum that was already chewed for 30 minutes? It's like
yeah, exactly.
It's like no. It's like yeah, that's how men feel about older women. You know?
Exactly. But yeah, I was like, because that's kind of been in the news a lot recently. I'm like, that fucking scares the shit out of me. But like, I am so glad that I am not on the trying to date right now. And on top of that, I'm also not like subscribing to like OnlyFans accounts and shit, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is no reason for you to be paying for that stuff. Don't, especially if you're a guy, like don't support that lifestyle. First of all, like you're probably gonna be the AI stuff is just gonna keep growing. So you're probably gonna be giving money to a robot that doesn't exist. And two, even if that person does exist, that lifestyle is not good. Like, what are you gonna be getting out of it? Like, a few moments of pleasure in your brain chemistry being like rerouted and changed, and you might end up impotent because of all that is going on. Go for it, buddy. Like, it's seriously, it's not good for you. Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help. Words from the great MJ.
Yeah, I really hope that the guy that's like the people that are doing this, just like they're just pissed off guys who are tired of like the e-thoughts, and they just like, we're gonna end this fucking this train. And they're just
it's so interesting. It's so interesting though that you bring this up, because I just saw a video either this morning or maybe yesterday, where from this woman who's a dating coach, and she was reacting to this OnlyFans girl, kind of complaining about the status of her life, or whatever, and she fully admits that what is it? Oh, God, I just had it in my head. She fully admits that doing OnlyFans has destroyed her image of men. Like, because it's killed her attraction for men in general. Because because she interacts with like these, degenerated men who are like constantly telling her to do like the most obscene and reprobate things, that like it's like killed her attraction for men in general.
Yeah.
And so it's like we all talk about. I mean, as bad as it is that men are consuming it, we're the women who are creating the content, they've been lied to. All right, they've been lied to, and it's sad that there wasn't a strong man in this woman's life to be like, knock that shit off right now. It's like, no, you're not gonna sell your butthole, pictures of your butthole for $5 a pop. And she would have been, and her life would have been vastly improved. And so I mean, there's always on these dating podcasts, there's always that question. It's like, it's men's fault that women have to go into OnlyFans, and like be content creators or whatever. But it's like, well, if women didn't act like men and think like they're girl bosses and they don't need men, then it's like kind of chicken or the egg thing, because because there was a statistic that recently came out, a statistic that came out that 30% of men between the ages of 18 to 35, I believe, are either virgins or haven't had sex in a year.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 18 to 35. They are either virgins or haven't had sex within a year. And so it was like the reason why OnlyFans is popular is because men don't have options. And men don't have options is because women don't act like women anymore. They act like worse versions of men. Let's be honest. They act like worse versions of men. Because women are told to be, get your money, don't need no man, do it on your own. And so if you can do it on your own, then what do you need a man for?
Exactly.
And so and I think with the whole transgenderism thing, I think it's solidly proven that men are better at everything, even being women. A la Caitlyn Jenner, a la all these beauty contests, that allow transitioned men to compete, and they that they're gonna win just because they're transgender.
Yep.
But yeah, what was that?
Good job, bro.
Yeah, there you go, women. It's your fault. But also, yes, it's it is ultimately it is on men though, because men have, feminists, your heads are gonna explode, but men have the authority over women. Again, to kind of point to the Bible times. Eve was the first. Eve sinned with her eyes closed. Adam sinned with his eyes open.
Yeah.
But Adam, it got the. I think Adam was judged more harshly because he had authority over Eve.
Yeah.
And so it's his fault that she sinned. And so men, you have to step it up, and I know it sucks, but you just have to step it up. All right, you have to reclaim. If a woman will not get under your authority, do not get into your frame, then you just have to walk away from that woman.
I hate to quote this person, but be better.
Yeah, that dude. I don't really like, but he said that in this one instance he's right. Be better. Be better.
Michael Obama.
Yeah, Mikey Robinson.
Yeah. I was. Yeah, don't fucking pay for OnlyFans. Don't give in to them bots. Just be a man.
Yeah, be a man. Do the right thing. Yeah, so step it up.
Should we dive into the movie review?
Let us indeed get into the movie review. To remind you guys, tonight the movie is Taxi Driver, by Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro, Sybil Shepherd, Harvey Keitel, Jodie Foster, Peter Boyle. Who else? Albert Brooks.
Yeah, Albert Brooks is in there. It's Sybil Shepherd,
Yeah. Dude, and this one, Harvey Keitel is so young.
Jodie Foster was 12.
Right. Damn, she was 12? Holy shit.
And so the racy parts that she was doing, like, you know, trying to unbuckle Robert De Niro's pants in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was her older sister who was 18 at the time. But for all the other scenes, like the diner and whatnot.
Yeah, where she's actually talking. Jesus.
Yeah, it's.
What about when she kisses Harvey Keitel's character?
He is the pimp.
Yeah, I know, but like, what about that scene? Is that her?
I think that's her. Oh, that's a good question. Because that scene is really fucking uncomfortable.
Yes, especially now that I know that she was. I mean, I know she was young, but I didn't think she was 12. Holy shit.
12.
Holy shit.
First of all, she is not talking about how good of a child actor she was.
Right.
I mean, that's like she was killing it back then.
Yeah.
But fuck, that scene.
Holy shit. Ugh.
It just pisses me off. I hate that scene, but it's so fucking uncomfortable.
Seriously. All right, let me hit everyone with the synopsis, and we'll get going. Again, this is a synopsis for Taxi Driver. Suffering from insomnia, disturbed loner Travis Bickle takes a job as a New York City cabbie, haunting the streets nightly, growing increasingly detached from reality as he dreams of cleaning up the filthy city. When Travis meets pretty campaign worker Betsy, he becomes obsessed with the idea of saving the world. First, plotting to assassinate a presidential candidate, then directing his attention toward rescuing 12-year-old prostitute Iris.
Speaking of loners and OnlyFans, that's kind of De Niro's character.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
But, so this is your first time watching it, right, Andy?
Yeah.
What did it live up to the
hype?
to expected?
I honestly wasn't expecting it to be. I mean, yeah, it was darker than what I was expecting.
It was darker than we. Oh man, yeah, it is a dark film.
Yeah, I mean, especially now, like being, you know, kind of with the knowledge of certain realities. Yeah, just really dark. But I do think it's really interesting that, you know, that even despite Travis, the character Travis Bickle, mental his mental health being in question, you know, I do think, you know, it does tap into the male desire to protect and provision. You know, because, you know, he saw the moral decay, you know, within the city, and, you know, he wanted to make it better.
Yeah.
You know, and it kind of reminds me of that quote from was it Kingdom of Heaven, where it's like, you know, it's when Liam Neeson's character first goes to see Orlando Bloom's character. And inside of Orlando Bloom's character's forge, because his character is a blacksmith, there's an inscription. I think it's Latin, but it's like it says, "What man is a man that doesn't want to make the world better?"
Yeah.
So I was reminded of that.
Yeah, Travis Bickle is such an interesting character because he's clearly messed up.
Mm-hmm.
He can't sleep. He's trying. He can't connect with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's alone 95% of the time, and so when you get caught in this cycle of doing the same thing over and over and over again, seeing the worst sides of society, especially at night. I mean, God, I would hate to fly in Travis Bickle's cab because some of the shit that he has to see. And sees all this when he's driving through the city. He sees all like this depravity, and we also.
Well, I mean, there's that scene where they literally use his taxi as like a hotel, like that guy that picks up that prostitute.
Yeah, it's fucked up. And the other thing too is like what I don't think a lot of people realize this is that Travis Bickle's a Vietnam veteran.
Yeah, a Marine.
And we don't really dive into that too much, other than like at the very beginning of the film, like when he's trying to get the job as a cabbie. But he probably saw some shit in combat, and I think it fucked up his mind. Because I have a feeling I don't think he was always like that. I think something snapped in his head, and obviously never dealt with it. And I think he's like, I can't. He can't sleep probably because of the flashbacks and like the trauma that he suffered in war. Because we're never really an explanation as to why he can't sleep. Where he's like working, 12-hour shifts, and then even at the end of the 12-hour shift, he still can't sleep. So he goes to the porno theater with the show and tell, which is that is gotta be one of the most disgusting things. I especially like at that time in New York, going to one of those places. God,
could you imagine how stickier the ground is?
Oh yeah. I mean, they have like that like little avant-garde like porno theater where it had maybe 25 seats.
Yeah. That small theater.
And it's like you're hearing other dudes like jerking it to this stuff. Ugh. He's also watching like foreign porn too, because it's like subtitled, like the one he took Betsy to.
Yeah.
Because he's fucked up. It's like, what the fuck is this? Why would you bring your date here, knucklehead? And it's like, he's talking about like the. I was like, this almost. Part of this almost looks like something that we would have seen in school for a
like health class, yeah.
And then they start like doing like this orgy. Like, what is this? What is this? And from what I understand, it's like the movies that he's watching were real movies. Like, I know at the little show and tell avant-garde theater he goes to, you saw how the screen was blurred out. Scorsese had to do that because one, it was a
censors.
And they couldn't so he created a special shot to kind of that out. It just it's so gross. Are there? I mean, I assume there are, but like, are there still porno theaters like out there like that? Like, I can't imagine. Now, especially nowadays, it's so accessible everywhere. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things that happened to porn was VHS.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, that's the whole deal with the movie Boogie Nights.
Yeah. VHS basically killed the porno theater, and even like it wasn't even that far removed from us right now in 2023, because what is it? I mean, the biggest news, like in 1991, Pee Wee Herman, actor Paul Rubens, he was arrested for, indecent jerking it in a.
Was it that long ago that he got arrested for that?
Yeah.
God, I felt like it was like a lot earlier than that. Oh man.
Yeah, it was 91.
Than that, like I thought it was like closer, like. But oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, the concept of the porno theater is not that far removed from us.
It's not. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it just so Travis Bickle is clearly fucked up. But he's also he does try to make. a city with a bunch of people. He drives people around for a living.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know how to connect. And then like when clearly like something bad is going on in his head, and like he's like, I gotta talk to him about it. And he tries to talk to Peter Doyle's character, Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
That conversation, I don't know about you, I laugh at this conversation because these two freaking knuckleheads, Travis can't communicate what's going on with him, and Wizard doesn't know. He's a cab driver, but they call him the Wizard. It's like, yeah, I know what's going on. You're a good kid. You know, go to the porno, get laid, get drunk, do all this. Like, well, he's not getting laid, but he's certainly getting drunk and popping pills and going to the porno theater. Like, I think that's clearly not helping him at all.
Right. Yeah, I think it's the disconnect. I mean, mental health, wasn't. I mean, now, like, it's so ubiquitous that, like, companies are like, having to take that into account, for their employees or whatever. But, back then in the 70s, it was like no one was talking about that shit, and like most of the time the prescription was like Wizard said, like, oh, go get loaded, go get laid, rinse and repeat.
And to be honest, now that I think about this might be maybe not like the first film to do this, but like one of the most notable films to really deal with someone that's just going fucking crazy. But the other thing too about Travis, about this movie too, that like why it's so unsettling. Well, one, the score is fucking fantastic, with like that, like the jazzy tunes and like all that kind of weird. This is I didn't know if you know this, but this is Bernard Herrmann, great composer who did many of the Hitchcock films. Started I think his first gig was with Citizen Kane. This is his last score that he ever did, and he died 2 days after finishing up the score for this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of. That's why I think at the end of the film they have a in memoriam to Bernard Herrmann. The score kind of it helps with it, but the way that Scorsese frames Travis Bickle in these shots, like he's always kind of like off center. He's never really looking at anybody like that's in his shot. He's always looking away. And kind of showing like the ever-growing distance that he has from his peers. And I think he does try to reach out to Betsy. He does a really good job initially. Like, he's been like watching her for a while. I think he's practiced in the mirror, like how he's gonna talk with her, and so it looks like that's gonna go well. But then he brings her to a dirty movie, which initially turns her on. But I think
wait, it turns her on?
Or I'm like, well, so because like, Travis, this is a dirty movie. Like, oh, a lot of couples over here. It's like, oh, really? She goes in, and I think what upsets her is that she doesn't like how she feels about it. Like, I think she is turned on by it, and she thinks of kind of like this, like as a bad boy a little bit, because she's turned on by like his the way that he approaches her.
Right, yeah, his swag. She was definitely turned on when when he just came in and was like matter of fact, he's like, oh, you have to go sign up with that guy. So, oh, well, I'd rather sign up with you. And just like that bravado.
This Brooks' character.
What?
And then
versus Al Brooks' character.
Dismissed Albert. Yeah, and pretty much like his focus is on her. It's like, and he pretty much like, hey, let's go for coffee and pie. And it's like, oh, when he's there, it's like, oh yeah, he pretty much like tells out her life, which intrigues her because there is truth to that. And when he takes her to this, like, well, this isn't the show and tell. This is like some sticky porno theater because it's like this. And it looks like
there's like a huge marquee. It looks like there's a lobby. Yeah, you know, a fancier porno theater, right?
And there are couples there. He does not lie. There are couples there. But like, she's like, Travis, this is a dirty movie. It's like, okay, a lot of couples come here and like have a good time. And I think that the reason why she gets so upset is because she doesn't like that she's turned on by that. Like, cause she feels a little bit like, this is wrong. I like this, but it's also wrong, and I don't want to be here. And so that's why she leaves.
Maybe.
Because why else at the end of the movie would she get back into his cab? Like, which she clearly looked for.
All right, what was that? You're kind of cutting in and out there for me.
No, it's like you're roboting on me. But no, I was saying is like, the reason why I say that and why I think that's true of her is because at the end of the movie, she doesn't just happen to get into Travis' cab. That's she saw.
Yeah.
And she's like, so there. I think that she hated that she was turned on by that. Because I'm not that type of girl. But she was.
I don't necessarily think that it was because that, you know, she didn't like that she was turned on about it. I think she was a little bit high on herself, and, you know, it was like, oh, like, bring me to this lowly, you know, porno theater, and you have to notice that. Yeah, she sought him out after he becomes like, you know, he gains some status and like as like this hero.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah. So yeah, I think more it had to do with like her sense of like, it's like, oh, I can't believe this weird guy brought me to a porno theater. Like, that's weird. And like, I think she was genuinely kind of. I genuinely think she was disgusted by it. But after, you know, he becomes like this big celebrity hero guy, and, you know, and gains some status, like, 'cause, I mean, like, she knows that he's a cab driver, but like he still was kind of attractive because of his confidence in asking her out. But then when like she saw like this one part of him that like that she didn't like, she like, you know, just, you know, ended it right there until he got some notoriety, got some status, and that's when she sought him out, and like a freaking boss, he like drops her off and's like, bye.
Yeah, don't worry about it. See ya.
Exactly.
See ya, bitch.
Yeah.
Here's one thing that I mean, obviously we know he's descending into madness a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I can't quite figure out, and maybe this is the whole point, we're not supposed to figure it out, but why do you think he's going to assassinate the Senator Palantine?
For the same reason why he was going to kill the pimp. And the hotel owner. What was that?
Is that because he felt like he was going to save somebody by killing this guy?
Yes, because in his narration, you know, he thought very highly of Betsy, but felt like, you know, she was like being corrupted, right?
Okay.
And so and because she was working for Charles Palantine, Bickle thought that he was the corrupting force in Betsy's life. So he had to and that's why he came up with the plan of trying to take out the Palantine. But when that wasn't able to come to fruition, he transferred that over to Iris.
Yeah, maybe because because I was thinking it's like, what? Because he goes from trying to kill Palantine, which fails, and he runs away and gets away.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously he turns his attention towards saving this young girl who's been thrown into prostitution, which is the more noble act, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Killing this presidential candidate in Senator Palantine. I don't know what he thought that was going to accomplish. Did he now he had been watching a lot of the speeches that Palantine has been giving, and maybe this is something that happens off screen, that there's some of the policies that because he's maybe trying to learn up this guy, and the policies that this guy is trying to put forward is that's not what this city needs. We need this whole place, because he does talk to Palantine in his taxi earlier in the movie. It's this town just needs to be flushed clean. This town is disgusting. It's
right.
A lot of problems.
Right,
and
but
so
I don't think Palantine was the motivation. It's the women in his life. Betsy, because she rejected him. She having this highfalutin idea that she's better than this or better than him, and he transferred that onto Palantine and saw him as the corrupting force in Betsy's life.
So you think you would compare Palantine to Betsy is to Sport as is to Iris?
Yes.
Oh, that's it. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know I agree, but I think that's an interesting connection.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is listen to his narrations after, leading up to, the disastrous, date with Betsy, and then afterwards.
Maybe I need to take a look at that. Maybe I must be missing something. That's the thing. Is I think I'm missing something then.
Yeah. I mean that's just me, and that's just how I'm understanding, and I'm pretty confident that that's I think that's pretty dead on.
But obviously there's one of the iconic scenes in the film with parodied in so many levels. You talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
You talking to me? Well, first of all, that is also a recall. That is not the origin of that scene. You know where that comes from? Shane.
Oh, is it?
That is a recall our scene in Shane.
Oh. Shane the Western?
The Western, yes.
Oh. Well, from what I remember, maybe I'm wrong, but I heard a story that's saying that was one of De Niro's warm up things.
Yeah.
And then Scorsese saw that. It's you kind of like in Wolf of Wall Street? Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. And then you had McConaughey's chest thumping thing. That was his pre-scene warm up technique. And DiCaprio saying oh yeah, you should totally use that for the scene.
Yep. I mean, I'm just saying that's probably where De Niro got it from. But that is there's a scene in the bar where it is kind of that. You talking to me? You talking to me? That it's done differently, different spin on that, but it does come from.
I see. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, this obviously is. I think this scene has become much more famous than Shane, unfortunately. But
yeah.
That's like one of the famous scenes, like where this is where you start to get like this. His mind really starts to snap.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up buying essentially all the guns he can get. Starts training his body for, stops taking the pills for a time, stops boozing, starts to eat right, stuff like that, and tries to go to case the senator, try to see find a weak point to assassinate him. He builds like his trolley arm for the gun, so that he's got the holsters and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That ends up not working out, and he stumped. I think before those events. No, so during all this is going on, he has stumbled into Iris. Iris jumps into his cab, and is throws it out, and they Sport throws the 20 in the car. Is like, hey, you didn't see nothing, buddy. Roll on. Keep going on.
Mm-hmm.
He almost runs Iris over, along with that other prostitute. Which that prostitute, the girl that with Iris in that is the actual prostitute that Jodie Foster interviewed to prepare for this.
Holy shit! A 12-year-old interviewed an actual prostitute?
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Oh my gosh. And so the scene at the diner that De Niro and Foster have together, and she has the jelly, and then she starts putting sugar on the jelly.
Mm-hmm.
That was what that prostitute did in the interview that interview that Jodie Foster and that girl had there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I mean, it's and people have asked Jodie, did that bother you at 12 years old that you're gonna be playing this type of big character? It's I don't know. It's an acting gig. I did what I had to do. It didn't bother me. It's just this is the job. It's that's fucking insane. For you're crazy. You're you're nuts. I mean, acting are kind of nuts to begin with, but yeah. So he almost runs Iris over, and it's he essentially he failed to save Iris. It's at that moment, it's he sees himself as kind of someone who is gonna save something, and he failed to save this young girl who's a prostitute. And I think that's where when he couldn't, you might be onto something with your idea that he is trying to save Betsy and the city from corruption on 15. And he fails to do that. So he's like, okay, well maybe I can save this young girl that I know from her situation, which she does end up becoming successful.
Mm-hmm. I usually am, dude. I'm usually right about these things.
That final scene is nuts.
Yeah. Him just going up to Sport, shooting him in the gut. And then taking out the hotel guy, and then that mob guy. Did we lose?
Still there, Andy?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Okay. No, the one thing before we kind of finish off with that scene, that obviously the iconic shot with him, he's got the hawk, he shaved the sides of his head. Do you want to know that De Niro never shaved his head that way? That was a bald.
Did we lose Robert? Did we lose you? Goodness gracious. I think we lost him. Hold on. And we lost him. Stand by, people. I'm gonna try and get him back. I don't know. The program is just kind of frozen. Oh boy, it's not one thing; it's another. But yeah, taxi driver. Yeah, I mean, it's my theory, but yeah, I do think that. Yeah, I do think that it's a transference thing with from Betsy to Iris, because he wasn't able to. Okay. For some reason I can't. I do think it's a transference thing. Hold on. Let's stand. I'm gonna. We're gonna go to standby for a little bit. Standby. And I have to create a new window for you. Great. Alright. Okay, standby. I have Robert back, folks. But, again, yeah, I have to create a new window for him real fast. Or maybe not. Hold on. Can I just do this? No, I can't. Okay, I have to create a new window for him. Okay. And we have you back. Okay.
We have me back? Okay, great. No, what I was we were getting into the final scene, but I wanted to. There was one other kind of interesting fact about the film that I wanted to share before we got into that. Was the iconic kind of footage of Travis Bickle is him and with the mohawk, right?
Don't tell me. Okay, yeah. Mohawk, go.
Yeah, the mohawk. That is a bald cap. That's not. He never. De Niro.
He never shaved his head. Oh.
Nope.
Oh shit.
It looks great, doesn't it?
It looks really good. Yeah, I totally believe that he, was committed and shaved his head.
That, especially for him as kind of a method actor, especially at that point, you would expect that he would have done that, but
right, unless he because all movies are shot out of sequence, and so, if this was towards the end, and he had some other project that he had to do.
Must have been.
Yeah, he might not have been able to, fully commit.
Yeah, but it was. That was a bald cap, but let's get into that final scene, where he does end up. After the failed assassination attempt, he starts popping pills, and he's kind of there's something going on with him.
Yeah.
There's some sort of I think some sort of bloodlust. He's I gotta get this out of my system, and he leaves some money behind for Iris so that she can get out of town. And he goes up to Sport. Obviously, it looks different. It's been a number of weeks since he's last been there, and acting all crazy. And he tells Sport, "Go suck on this." Shoots him in the belly a couple times, and then takes a moment to contemplate that. And it's all right, I can just walk away right now, or am I gonna go through with this? Nope, I'm gonna go through with it. And he walks up that hallway again, shoots that dude's fucking hand off, which is a great practical effect. And gets shot, gets grazed in the neck, which is also a really great shot. Just blasts Sport away, kills him. And then goes up in the room with the guy that's trying to have sex with Iris, and that guy is clearly has the gun. Ends up shooting Travis in the arm, and then Travis just blows him away. And the guy who had his is trying to get at Travis. They wrestle for a bit. Gun and just goes to town on his face. It's fucking great.
It's pretty brutal, yeah.
And it's a really brutal final scene, pretty much, and at least the final climax. And I think this is obviously the last bit of convincing that Iris needs. I need to get the fuck out of here and go back home. It's the cops come. He's all out of bullets. He's used them all.
Yeah.
And he does try to kill himself, which he's unsuccessful because all his guns are out of bullets. And so he just kind of collapses on the couch. And when he's when the cops are there, his bloody hand, he's just
I was just thinking he's miming shooting himself in the head.
Yeah. But he survives, and we get the Iris is saved, and she's gone back home, and we get that nice letter from her parents, which, God, doesn't that guy sound like Jimmy Stewart? I know it's
yeah, that shaky voice, yeah. Oh, Mr. Mitchell, thank you so much for bringing, returning our Iris to us.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But he would never have done a movie like this. That's why I was like, it cannot be Jimmy Stewart.
Right. But I can't picture it either.
But the picture in the paper of like the reunion between Irish and her parents, the couple that's there, that is Martin Scorsese's parents.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's that. And Travis, for the most part, looks like he's recovered, and he's kind of not only like semi back to normal, but he is a hero. Do you now? Some people consider like this whole thing to be kind of a semi fantasy. Do you buy? Do you think that he died, or do you think that this is really what happened in the movie?
Well, I would say it's real only because of the newspaper clippings.
Okay.
Because if it was just all in his mind, then the newspaper, like, there wouldn't be newspaper clippings, or the newspaper clippings would be saying something different. And we're not shown that it's like some fantasy and like they actually say like, oh, deranged madman goes and nearly murders underage prostitute or whatever. It's that, it says that he's a hero.
Here's something I just thought of as a question, like before we finish. Yeah, we know that Travis is a Vietnam vet. He was a Marine. Obviously, they were not treated well, and there's a lot of. Do you think that there's a part of him, like, he failed his mission in Vietnam to help win the war. He failed to protect the city against corruption to a degree when he didn't, in his own mind, to assassinate Palantine. Do you think that, like, maybe he is back to normal because he did feel like he accomplished something, that he saved somebody, he changed somebody's life for the better by his actions? And the only
he for sure achieved catharsis with saving Iris, and that's why he was able to walk away from Betsy and her somewhat advances.
It's almost like he no longer needed her.
Right, because because his was like a little bit, he desired her sexually, but he also felt the need to save her. But because she had spurned him and his protection, I think he was able to move past that. And then when he was ultimately able to fulfill that desire of protection and rescue, he no longer wanted Betsy anymore.
Do you think that this is? Do you think that he ends up going on another rampage like that again?
In universe, not immediately. But I don't know. After,
do you think it's more like a Paul Kersey type of character? Like, he only does it like when he's pushed or like when it becomes necessary.
Maybe, yeah. Kind of like in Dark Knight Rises, where Batman is semi-retired because of the events of Dark Knight.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I think that desire or drive to fulfill a mission and to accomplish something was satisfied in him enough to where he's like, it's like, all right, I can continue living.
But this is one of those like movies that I know it's a controversial movie. Like, some people are like, oh, it's a dangerous movie because people are going to be influenced to go become vigilantes or to become like these repressed what's the incel or something like that, or whatever the fuck that they'll call Travis Bickle. But I feel like
yeah. Well, I mean, really quickly, I don't think the label of incel applies to him because he was able to attract women. Like, I mean, the case for in the case of Betsy, he was able to attract her. He wasn't involuntarily celibate.
No.
He was voluntarily. He was voluntarily celibate.
But there is an attraction that Travis Bickle does have on people, and I think the film is really good. I really like this film. It's not a film that I'm gonna like. Man, you know what I'm feeling like watching today? Taxi Driver. It's not a feel good film in a lot of ways, but I think it's a film that should be watched. That is not. I think it says something different than people think it does. I think a lot of people, like I said, they tend to go like, oh, it's this dangerous incel that's just angry at the world and blah blah. It's like it's not that. And there's some comedic moments. There's some kind of like there's interesting moments, and there's a lot of stuff that can be pulled apart out of there that are like we said, we've posed interesting questions about this film as well. I think that help maybe people think a little differently. But since this is your first time, Andy, why don't you rate it first?
I think I'm coming to a 4.
You're gonna go in.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you watch this movie again?
I think similarly to you, this isn't like a movie that I'm dying to watch over and over again. But if I'm gonna maybe to introduce or even like on not a yearly, but like maybe every few years here and there, I might want to watch it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. As far as like making it 4, what makes it a 4 for you?
It's nothing. I mean, I know I'm the technical guy, but it's nothing technical about this movie because I mean, limitations of the time when it was made. But it's just one of those instances where I just can't give it a 5.
Okay, it's because I'm kind of with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. And a 4 is not bad either. But like, there's not like one like specific thing that I could point out to you, be like, this is why it's not a 5, or this is why like I'm bringing it down, or this is where it's like lacking. It's just one of those movies where like I just can't give it a 5.
I think maybe for both of us, because this is not a film that like I want to like rush back to watch again. Just because it is a very dark film, it doesn't make me feel all that great. So maybe I think that's why, because I'm going to come in at a 4 as well. And that's kind of my reasoning. It has nothing to do with anything technical. I think the story is great. I like the characters. I think this is all intents and purposes, a perfect film in a lot of ways. It's it's definitely not as good as Goodfellas, but it's in Scorsese's top 5 easily. Might be his second best film, but it's just it's not a movie I want to go back rush back and watch. Like, I'm probably gonna own it at some point just because I would like to, but it's not like, oh man, I'm feeling Taxi Driver today, let's do it.
Right.
So that's why I would think of it a 4.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's also probably due to like the subject matter, like, and like the realities of like Jodie Foster being 12 years old, when playing a prostitute, and I just can't. Again, this movie, like, the story is good, the pacing is fine, the characters are all like very believable. But yeah, I just can't give it the 5.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right.
But man, it's there's a lot, and like I don't know if you know this too. Like De Niro, who actually had a taxi license, he had a hack license, and was driving around New York in preparation for this role. And it's funny because he had just won the Oscar for Godfather Part 2, and there was another actor that happened to jump into De Niro's cab, and it's like, man, are things that bad? Like, you just won, buddy.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Funny. Like, so, like I said, there's all sorts of like cool stuff that's like goes on with this film, and it's like it's sort of like French Connection. It's very like avant-garde. Like, they're doing like this guerrilla filmmaking, because the cinematographer and Scorsese, they're in the back of the cab, like huddled, getting those shots. And and there's not a lot of permits. It's kind of it's that 70s gritty guerrilla filmmaking that just doesn't exist anymore, and it's a time capsule.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
A bygone era in New York, because that place looks disgusting.
Dude, like, I can almost imagine the smell of like on the street.
Yeah.
Because it's not too dissimilar to what we're going through right now.
Yeah, I can feel the cockroaches.
Yeah, I smell the ammonia from all the urine in the street.
And I can smell the cum in the porn theater. It's like, it's disgusting.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and it's like, and I hear like I could hear like the stickiness, like the sound is like.
So, yeah. But anyways, yeah. I think 4 is an appropriate.
Yeah, it's 4 is very respectable. 4 is very respectable.
Review Taxi Driver.
Yeah. All right, folks. There you have it. That's our review for Taxi Driver. Both Robert and I give this a 4. Definitely a movie to watch, just not like on constant on repeat. And definitely a movie to introduce someone to. But just not one of those where it's like you're watching it every weekend.
Definitely.
All right. And with that brings us to the end of our stream tonight. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time. I know Rob always has a good time.
Always.
Yeah. Apologies for the technical difficulties. I don't know what happened. Just like the Skype just like kind of froze up, and like on my end, like I couldn't even access the controls. Like the screen was just like whited out, and I wasn't able to do anything. Rob tried to call back, but I wasn't even able to pick up the call. So thank you for bearing with us. If you enjoyed the stream, don't forget to check out the library of other content that we have. The Circle of Jerks main podcast, episodes of Nocturnal Transmissions, of course, and Rob's Gaming Show, Up by Up Down. Don't forget to follow us on our various social media accounts, Twitter or X now, or letterboxed at Podcast COJ, and Instagram at Circle of Jerks Podcast. And with all that said, we thank you for joining us tonight. Come back next week and we'll do it all over again. Have a good one.